So now the most awaited living section of the this is the coziest living room, and it's very subtle, it's very light, and it's very vibrant as well. So I personally feel a lot of positivity and a lot of happiness when I come to this section because it's a I mean everything here is not new. So yes, I would like to reveal the entire journey of how the flow went on. So starting from this wall, what you see here are the rafters, which are again of HDHMR, which is painted. I mean the paint which I have used here is Asian paint, matte finish, Royal. So the concept here for the living room also was in the similar tone, where we didn't wanted to emphasize more on the furniture element. We didn't wanted to highlight more of storage. It was actually camouflaging effect, giving a volume and a hugeness to the space, because living room is a space where majority of people dwell in. Like when you have your parties or when you have your guests coming in, it is majorly the living room. So living room, I wanted it to look big, I wanted it to look very subtle, and I wanted it to be pleasing so that people feel like sitting for a longer time. So that was the concept. So moving further in the journey, so on the rafters what you see is the wall light. So wall light also has a dual effect. It has a side pop. Along with that, it even has the front. I mean the entire lighting is from the sides. Selection of this light particularly was from the sides because being exactly opposite to the sofa area or to the seating area, I didn't wanted it to come to disturb the eyesight. So I was very keen and very particular in having the light from the sides and not from the front. So if you observe the fitting very well, both the side lights, there are focus sides, plus there are profiles which is again coming in the shape. So the shape of neoclassical, which was my concept earlier, is still achieved in some other form. So I'm very happy that whatever was in a vision earlier, I mean whatever was the concept, the conceptualizing phase and the delivery output is very similar. Although there were a lot of 3Ds which got changed on frequent detailing with regards to the color combination, with regards to the concept, but still more or less whatever I visualized earlier, it is almost on the similar lines. So after the light effect, this place I have purposely kept it black. It can be for a vase or it can be anything, but I didn't wanted anything here because this is the common passage towards the bedrooms and the washroom area. So I wanted absolutely no obstacle or no hurdle here. That is the reason why you see this blackness, which could be avoided by placing some artifact or by placing a vase, or even if you don't keep anything as such. Yes, even if there is nothing here, still the place will not look blank because of the addition of the wall light or the wall lamp over here. So the wallpaper used in this area is exactly same like what I have used for the dining area. The only thing what is changing here is I have not used grey glass. I mean like here it is only the wallpaper which is maximizing the width of the wall. So wallpaper also is in sync with the flooring, because as I told you, flooring is light greyish with an Italian marble feel. So I wanted the same Italian marble or the same stony feel on the walls. But I was very sure that I am not going to have any sort of grey element on my walls, because that would have made the space look a little bit smaller, because most of my furniture is again on the grey tone. So that was the concept, or that was the thought process behind selecting this wallpaper. Wallpaper is again imported. It's a German make. So you see, I mean there are very fine shimmer elements here, but it is again in the dull gold finish. So dull gold, which I had visioned for the grills, is reflecting even in the living room, because the dull gold grill is placed in two slots in the living room. One is in the dining and one is in the Mandir area. So I didn't wanted that continuity to break. So I was fortunate enough to get this customized. This is a customized wallpaper. I got it, I mean we tried lots and lots of designs. on CAD and on even Pinterest. We searched a lot and lots of concept, but what we wanted was this. So this is a provision for the TV. I mean, currently this is the size of TV what they have, but in future if they are wanting to go for a bigger size of TV, even that is possible. That is the reason why the rafters are positioned in such a manner that even if they want to go for a big size TV, or later if they want to go for a projector screen, that should not be a problem at all. So electrical here majorly is entirely associated with the with association with the TV, like set-top box, your PlayStation, or any other like these days technology is just booming so much that there are so many gadgets coming on each and every day. So we don't want that limitation wherein you regret that no, we don't have any sufficient electrical connection. So that is how it is here. Usually many of my projects I keep it below the TV unit, or I keep it inside the TV unit to hide it, but my client was very specific that even if it is visible it's fine, but they wanted a very clear access for the switch socket so that it is not at all a hurdle. So that is what I said, it is a balance of aesthetics as well as utility. So their utility comes very first and then comes the aesthetic part. So I don't think that having the switchboard here is still affecting the aesthetics, because it is still going on with the theme. Now the top of the TV unit is again back painted glass. The shade is Soft Whisper by Asian Paints. So the edges are again rounded. The edges are very much smooth and rounded. But below this is the furniture, is the TV unit storage. So even the top of the TV unit storage, I have rounded it. I have placed a proper wooden bedding here so that it is very smooth. So day to day, day in, day out while handling, this is not going to harm any injury or any accident as such. The depth of the drawers again was with regards to my client's requirement. They wanted a little bit of deeper drawers, so that is how these drawers are positioned here. But I haven't used a laminate here. These are charcoal panels because I had plain rafters on the left and the right, and wallpaper with a stone effect in the center. I somehow wanted to have the balance. So that is the reason why you see the rafters are 1 inch wide, and that is how the charcoal rafters are also 1 inch wide. So there are basically 3 soft close drawers. So these are the drawers. So these are the 3 drawers which are actually meant for the storage with regards to TV unit. So below the TV unit it is the same wallpaper which is going on to the length of the skirting. The same light effect, I have balanced it both the places so that the continuity and the rhythm of the house is maintained. Now this is actually the Mandir area. So Mandir, if you see, the requirement of Mandir was not a very big one. Every house, the story is different, every house the requirements are different. Here the requirements were very compact. They didn't want it a very bigger Mandir, but yes, there was a specific requirement from my clients in that the Mandir has to be in veneer. They didn't wanted any sort of laminate to be used in the Mandir. So we had used veneer here. We have a Mandir, we have a tray. Since we have the grill here, I have not gone for any handle as such. So very cute knobs. One is for the tray and the other is for the drawer. Again, the fittings used are soft close by Hafele, and this is again the dull gold finished jali. This is the bell which she had since a very long time, and she wanted this bell to be positioned in such a manner that it is there in the Mandir, because this was the piece which is there with my client since long. So that is the reason why I had to make this slot so that I can fit this pendant with bells. Since it was arrangement of 5 bells, I felt to have the grooves here to give the straight pattern and somewhere balance the look. So this is a very cute and small Mandir which I have made here in the project. Below this is an area which is dedicated for the locker area. So we have made a sort of arrangement wherein a proper safe gets fitted. The detailing of this is also there in my series Ashiana, so maybe that is how I'm not going to explain it much in detail. Yes, but the top is again G7. Also they wanted a fountain because that was the requirement of my client, that she wants a fountain. So this is the fountain. I have purposely kept it off because while shooting I didn't wanted any disturbance as such. That is the reason why it was kept off. But this is a proper fountain with a proper sound. I mean the fountain, that water effect or the water So this was the fountain, which was very much wanted by my client. Coincidentally, the color combination of the fountain, if you see, it is also going with the theme. So there is a grey and there is this beige, there is a light white shade. So on a whole, the mission is accomplished. Now this is the main area. This is the window extension what we achieved here. So window extension is actually utilized in two forms. One is the seating space and second is the storage space. So for the seating, they wanted a proper mattress kind of covering, mattress kind of seating here. So we have a firm bonded mattress here, 4 inches thick. Then we have raised the wall here with at the raise is around 6 to 8 inches, so that the pillows stay properly, they don't fall off, or it is not discomforting even while you sit behind. So that was the thought process behind designing this seating. Below the seating there are drawers here. So these drawers are handleless, but since we have maintained the grooves, it is very difficult to identify how many drawers we have actually positioned here. So there are actually 3 drawers which are again handleless, but this slot has a ridge here so that your fingers are very firm and it's very easy to open it out. Again, it's a soft close, the fitting are by half length. Similarly, to balance both the sides, I have a similar storage unit over here, and the top is again G7 so that it is easier to clean. It gives a very clean look and gives you a feeling of largeness. So this was the thought process behind designing this wall exclusively for seating as well as for storage, but at the same time we didn't want it to highlight that this is a storage area or a sitting area. So exactly here is a window, for the living room. So the window is again the framing which I have used is composite marble. The windows are normal sections by Jindal make. The sections are 16 gauge. Windows are 3 track, 2 glasses and 1 mosquito mesh, followed by a fabricated half grill which is again painted white so that we don't find that limitization. It gives an openness, and yes, there is a roofing above so that in case of rains or any other disturbances, as such there is no disturbance which is coming in the projected area. So this is the slot which takes care of the electrical provisioning for the living room. Since it is exactly at the side, at the corner of the seating, of the sofa sitting and the window sitting, it is very much easier to access. So that is how this is positioned here. Now these are staggered shelves. Earlier in my concept, what I had shown the shelves, I had shown rustic shelves with profile light slots, but she wanted a proper glass shelves because that was what she intended. Earlier we had a pendant light here, but because she wanted a glass shelves, she wanted an arrangement of glass shelves, we skipped the profile light here and instead we opted just for the diffused lighting in the ceiling. So false ceiling is again flat. It is a mix of just 4 spotlights and panel lights. Panel lights are 3 in 1. So it has 3 effects. One is the warm white, white and natural. So since we have all these 3 effects in one, I was very much sure that I am not going to go for furthermore electrical I didn't wanted a lot of light fittings to make the space look very overwhelming. So at times it becomes difficult. Many a times while designing we do include all these things, but on a day-to-day basis, on the utility basis, very few times it is operated. So I prefer actually being minimalist in terms of usage and also in terms of budgeting. It saves a lot of cost, and I think that is how designing should be. So now coming back to the long wall. So this long wall is divided into 2 slots. One is the proper wall with a groove, because as I mentioned earlier, my client is very much fond of different artifacts. So she wanted a wall to have a good artifact, good placement, or a good place where she can position different artifacts. So this is again in the dull gold finish, and we got this from Amazon, and a little bit of tweaking we have done here, but that is still okay as long as the result is good. So this was the artifact which was ordered by her via Amazon. This is again the same wall effect. I have opted for grooves, equidistant grooves, so that it balances the rustic laminate which I have on the other side. So after this wall, the next thing what you see here, there is a hidden storage behind the sofa. So this is actually inbuilt storage. This is an inbuilt slot which is available in most of the flats here in the society. Since that was accessible, we tried making use of that because it gives a lot of storage space. But since this is a living room and also that storage is not going to be actively used on day-to-day basis, it is that part of storage which is rarely used. So I didn't want to symbolize that by having a door element there. I opted for having a mixed design with which now currently if you see there, it looks like a paneling. It looks like a panel. It is not at all looking like a storage. But yes, this is the storage door. The door width ranges from here till this corner and the rest is paneling. So there is a very small concealed handle which is exactly behind the sofa. So whenever they want to access the sofa, just have to come a bit forward, and that is how the door would be accessed. And there is a lot of bigger storages like your suitcases or bulk bags could be definitely stored there. So which is like very rarely used. So utility at the same time look. So that is how the balance of this wall is made in such a manner that this stands out as a panel and the rest stands out as a wall, so that the largeness, it opens up in volume. Now the last element which I would focus here in the living room is this sofa. So the sofa what you see here, this was an old sofa which my client had, and they were actually in a dual mindset whether to opt for a new sofa or whether to go for an old sofa. So when I had been to their place and I had seen the hygiene of the sofa, I found it that yes, it is a very good to go kind of sofa. I mean, I was not very much interested in having a new sofa because sofa being sofa, there are just the upholstery changes and just the form changes. So earlier the sofa was not like this. The sofa, maybe I'll have a detailed video on the sofa as well. But the shape was similar, but the form was entirely different. This was a 3-seater sofa with 2 chairs. So currently the place where I'm sitting is 1 chair, the rest are the 3-seater sofa, and the extension there is another chair. So both the chairs have been modified. I have been I have removed the armrest from the side where I'm sitting and even from the other side, so that it looks like an L lounger kind of sofa. The upholstery, they were very much sure that they are not going to have any fabric which attracts more of dust or stains. So because they're allergic, I mean because they are highly allergic, so they didn't wanted a fabric which is very difficult to maintain. Also leather was a clear no, because they were not very much keen in having leather. So we opted for a leatherite fabric. The shade is a bit unique because that is what she wanted, a pop. I mean, she wanted a different shade, not the traditional shade which usually we find in sofas. So this is a bit of an English blue. It is a Pantone. I cannot call it as a Pantone, but yes, more or less in the shade of Pantone. And the pattern of the sofa also was very different. But since to have that comfort, I felt of having this kind of pleats so that there is a proper back support, and it makes a comforting appeal for the person sitting over there. Even the center table what you see is the old one. We have just tweaked little things. It was a bit loose. There were minor tweaks to be done with regards to polishing, with regards to finishing of the glass top. So I think we have achieved a good victory in reforming and reshaping the sofa and the center table. So that's it from my side, guys, for the living room. Thank you.
Thank you so much for being with me in this journey. If you resonate with my content, do like, comment, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you. Bye bye.